Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good evening to all of you. So I hope you all are fine, and let's start today's lesson. So we are studying how to talk to anyone, 92 little tricks to get a success, and we are on the page number 22. So how to make your smile magically different. Okay, first let me start the dictionary so that you could take help of that, and then yes. Okay. Alright. So what do? Just make it somehow small, and then yes, it's done. Where's that? Just a second. Okay, so let's do it. Yeah. In 1936, one of Dale Carnegie's 6 musts in how to win friends and influence people was a smile. His edict has been echoed and each decade by practically every communications guru who ever put pen to paper or mouth to a microphone. However, at the turn of the millennium, it's high time we re-examine the role of the smile in high-level human relations. When you dig deeper into Dale's dictum, so what is dictum? So here, see, dictum is rye, right? Dictum is rye. So into Dale's dictum, you will find 1936 quick smile doesn't always work, especially nowadays. The old-fashioned instant grin carries no weight with today's sophisticated crowd. Look at world leaders, negotiators, and corporate giants. Not a smiling psychopath. Okay, sycophant among them. Not a smiling sycophant among them. So sycophant means chaplus, okay, khushamdi, right? So not a smiling sycophant among them. Key players, okay, let's listen to the voice. Okay, Google voice not found, no problem. Microsoft.
Sycophant.
So this is sycophant among them. So not a smiling sycophant among them, like chaplus nahi hai. Key players in all walks of life enrich their smile, so when it does erupt, it has more potency and the world smiles with them. Researchers have catalogued dozens of different types of smiles. They range from the tight rubber band of a trapped liar to the soft, squishy smile of a tickled infant. Some smiles are warm, while others are cold. There are real smiles and fake smiles. You have seen plenty of those plastered on the faces of friends who say they are delighted you decided to drop by, and presidential candidates visiting your city who say they are thrilled to be in a big winners know their smile is one of their most powerful weapons, so they have fine-tuned it for maximum impact. So how to fine-tune your smile? Fine-tune means like अच्छा करना, उसको संवारना, right? So just last year, my old colleague friend Missy took over her family business, a Midwestern company supplying corrugated boxes to manufacturers. One day she called saying she was coming to New York to court new clients, and she invited me to dinner with several of her prospects. I was looking forward to once again seeing my friend's quicksilver smile and hearing her contagious laugh. Contagious means contagious means waba, right? Easily diffused or one from person. چھوت والی, متعدی, وبائی, متعدی یعنی انتقال پذیر, رائٹ. ہر کنٹیجیس لاف یعنی لائک وہ ہنسے گا تو مجھے بھی, میں بھی ہنس دوں گا, دیٹ از متعدی کے معنی میں. مسی واز این انکیوریبل جگلر, انکیوریبل, سی ہیئر, ناقابل علاج, ٹھیک ہے. اور جگلر کھسیانی ہنسی ہنسنے والا, giggler, it is giggler, incurable giggler. And what was part of her charm? And that was part of her charm. When her dad passed away last year, she told me she was taking over the business. I thought Missy's personality was a little bubbly to be a CEO in a tough business. But hey, what do I know about the corrugated box biz? Three of her potential clients and I met in the cocktail lounge of Midtown restaurant, and as we led them into the dining room, Missy whispered in my ear, "Please call me Melissa tonight." Of course, I winked back. Not many company presidents are called Missy. Soon after the maitre d' seated us, I began noticing Melissa was a very different woman from the giggling girl I had known in college. She was just as charming. She smiled as much as ever, yet something was different. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Although she was still effervescent. Okay, so effervescent. Let's find out what is effervescent. So effervescent is जोश से भरा.
Effervescent.
हाँ, so effervescent, right? So effervescent वो बहुत जोश से, मतलब पहले जैसी जोश से भरी हुई थी. I had that distinct impression. Everything Melissa said was more insightful and sincere. She was responding with genuine warmth to her prospective clients, and I could tell they liked her too. I was thrilled because my friend was scoring a knockout that night. By the end of the evening, Melissa had 3 big new clients. Afterwards, alone with her in the cab, I said, "Missy, you have really come a long way since you took over the company. Your whole personality has developed. Well, a really cool, sharp corporate edge." Only one thing has changed, she said. "What is that?" My smile. She said, "You're what?" I asked incredulously. Incredulously means بد اعتقادی سے, یعنی اس کا یعنی مجھے اس کی بات پہ اعتبار نہیں ہو رہا تھا, رائٹ. سو دس از incredulously. So I asked her incredulously, "My smile?" She repeated as though I hadn't heard it. "You see," she said with a distant look coming into her eyes, "when Dad got sick and knew if in a few years I would have to take over the business, he sat me down and had a life-changing conversation with me. I will never forget his words. Dad said, 'Missy, honey, remember that old song? I love ya, honey, but yet feet is too big. Well, if you are going to make it big in the box business, let me say, I love you, honey, but your smile is too quick.'" He then brought out a yellowed newspaper article quoting a study he had been saving to show me when the time was right. It concerned women in business. The study showed women who were slower to smile in corporate life were perceived as more credible. Okay, so as Missy talked, I began to think about history-making women like Margaret Thatcher, Indira Gandhi, Golda Meir, Madeleine Albright, and other powerful women of their ilk. Not one was known for her quick smile. For their ilk. Ilk means قسم, اپنی قسم کے. تو اپنی قسم کی جو عورتیں ہیں, موسٹ پاورفل عورتیں, رائٹ. سو Missy continued, "The study went on to say a big warmth smile is an asset, but only when it comes a little slower, because then it has more credibility. From that moment on, Missy explained she gave clients and business associates her big smile. However, she trained her lips to erupt more slowly. Thus, her smile appeared more sincere and personalized for the recipient. That was it. Missy's slower smile gave her personality a richer, deeper, more sincere cachet. So this is cachet. Mohar. Cachet means mohar. An indication of approved or superior status, right? मतलब बड़े होने का एहसास. Though the delay was less than a second, the recipient of her beautiful big smile felt it was special and just for them. I decided to do more research on this smile. When you are in the market for shoes, you begin to look at everyone's feet. When you decide to change your hairstyle, you look at everyone's haircut. Well, for several months, I became a steady smile watcher. I watched smiles on the street. I watched a smile on TV. I watched the smile of politicians, the clergy, corporate giants, and world leaders. My findings? Amid the sea of flashing teeth and parting lips, I discovered the people perceived to have the most credibility and integrity were just ever so slower to smile. Then, when they did, their smile seemed to seep into every crevice of their faces and envelop them like a slow flood. Okay, so this is crevice. So crevice means darar, shigaf, right? So where is that? Seep, seem to seep. Seep means tapakna, risna, right? So their smile seemed to seep, टपक रहा है into every crevice of their faces. यानी उनके हर चेहरे के हर जो है दरार से जो है वो मुस्कुराहट टपक रही है. And envelop them like a slow flood. Thus, I call the following technique the flooding smile. So technique number 1, the flooding smile. Don't flash an immediate smile when you greet someone, as though anyone who walked into your line of sight would be the beneficiary. Instead, look at the other person's face for a second, pause, soak in their persona, then let a big, warmth, responsive smile flood over your face and overflow into your eyes. It will engulf the recipient like a warm wave. The split-second delay convinces people your flooding smile is genuine and only for them. Let us now travel but a few inches north to two of the most powerful communication tools you possess, your eyes. Number 2. So, how to strike everyone as intelligent and insightful by using your eyes. It's only a slight exaggeration to say Helen of Troy could launch ships with her eyes and Davy Crockett could stare down a bear. Your eyes are personal grenades that have the power to detonate people's emotions. Just as martial arts masters register their fists as lethal weapons, you can register your eyes as psychological lethal weapons when you master the following eye contact techniques. Beloved people in the game of life, look beyond the conventional wisdom that teaches keep good eye contact. For one, they understand that certain suspicious or insecure people, intense eye contact can be a virtual intrusion. When I was growing up, my family had a Haitian housekeeper whose fantasies were filled with witches, warlocks, and black magic. Zola refused to be left alone in a room with Lucy, my Sammy's cat. Louise looked right through me, sees my soul, she would whisper to me fearfully. In some cultures, intense eye contact is sorcery. In others, staring at someone can be threatening or disrespectful. Realizing this, big players in the international scene prefer to pack a book on cultural body language differences in their carry-on rather than a Berlitz phrase book. In our culture, however, big winners know exaggerated eye contact can be extremely advantageous, especially between the sexes. In business, Even when romance is not in the picture, strong eye contact pack a powerful well-up between men and women. A Boston center conducted a study to learn the precise effect. The researchers asked opposite-sex individuals to have a 2-minute casual conversation. They tricked half their subjects into maintaining intense eye contact by directing them to count the numbers of times their partner blinked. They gave the other half of the subject no special eye contact directions for the chat. When they questioned the subject afterward, the unsuspecting blinkers reported significantly higher feelings of respect and fondness for their colleagues who unbeknownst. So they're nama'loom.
Unbeknownst.
So this is unbeknownst, nama'loom. Okay? Unbeknownst to them had simply been continued their blinks. Right? I have experienced the closeness, intense eye contact engenders with a strange first hand. Once, when giving a seminar to several hundred people, one woman's face in the crowd caught my attention. The participant appearance was not particularly unique, yet she became the focus of my attention throughout my talk. Why? Because not for one moment did she take her eyes off my face. Even when I finished making a point and was silent, her eyes stared hungrily on my face. I sensed that she couldn't wait to savor the next insight to spout from my lips. I loved it. Her concentration and obvious fascination inspired me to remember stories and make important points I would long forgotten. Right after my talk, I resolved to seek out this new friend who was so enthralled by my speech. As people were leaving the hall, I quickly sidled up behind my big fan. "Excuse me," I said. My fan kept walking. "Excuse me," I repeated a tad louder. My admirer didn't vary her pace as she continued out the door. I followed her into the corridor and tapped her shoulder gently. This time she whirled around with a surprised look on her face. I mumbled some excuse about my appreciating her concentration on my talk and wanting to ask her a few questions. "Did you get much out of the seminar?" I ventured. "Well, not really," she answered candidly. "I had difficulty understanding what you were saying because you were walking around on the platform facing different directions." In a heartbeat, I understood. The woman was hearing impaired. I did not captivate her as I had suspected. She was not intrigued by my talk as I had hoped. The only reason she kept her eyes glued on my face was because she was struggling to read my lips. Nevertheless, her eye contact had given me such pleasure and inspiration during my talk that, tired as I was, I asked her to join me for coffee. I spent the next hour recapping my entire seminar just for her. Powerful stuff, this eye contact. Make your eye look even more intelligent. This is yet another argument for intense eye contact. And in addition to awakening feelings of respect and affection, maintaining a strong eye contact gives you the impression of being an intelligent and abstract thinker, because abstract thinkers integrate incoming data more easily than concrete thinkers. They can continue looking into someone's eyes even during the silences. Their thought processes are not distracted by peering into their partner's peepers. Back to our valiant psychologist, Yale researchers, thinking they had the answering truth about eye contact, conducted another study that they assumed would confirm: the more eye contact, the more positive feelings. This time, they directed subjects to deliver a personally revealing monologue. They asked their listeners to reach with a sliding scale of eye contact while their partners talked. The results all went as expected when women told their personal stories to women. Increased eye contact encouraged feelings of intimacy, but whoops, It wasn't so with them, with the men. Some men felt hostile when stared at too long by another man. Other men felt threatened. Some few even suspected their partner was more interested than he should be and wanted to slug him. Your partner's emotional reaction to your profound gaze has a biological base. When you look intensely at someone, it increases their heartbeat and shoots an adrenaline-like substance gushing through their veins, right? So this is the same physical reaction people have when they start to fall in love. And when you consciously increase your eye contact, even during normal business or social interaction, people will feel they have captivated you. Many men talking to women and women talking to men or women use the following technique, which I call sticky eyes, for the joy of the recipient and for your own advantage. Guys, I'll have a man-to-man modification of this technique for you in a moment. Technique number 2, sticky eyes. Pretend your eyes are glued to your conversation partners with sticky warm taffy. Don't break eye contact. Taffy. What is taffy? Let us see. Chewy candy of sugar of syrup boiled until thick and pulled under. This is kind of chocolate. Don't break eye contact even after he or she has finished speaking. When you must look away, do it ever so slowly, reluctantly stretching the gooey taffy until the tiny string finally breaks. What about guys' eyes? Now, gentlemen, when talking to men, you too can use sticky eyes. Just make them a little less sticky when discussing personal matters with other men, lest your listener feel threatened or misinterpret your intentions. But do increase your eye contact slightly more than normal with men one day-to-day communications, and a lot more when talking to women. It broadcasts a visceral message of comprehension and respect. I have a friend, Sammy, a salesman who unwittingly comes across as an arrogant chap. He doesn't mean to, but sometimes his brusque manner makes it look like he is running roughshod over people's feeling. Brusque. What is brusque? नाशाइस्ता, अक्खड़पन, ठीक है ना. तो अक्खड़पन वाला जो उसका मैनर है, मिजाज है, makes it look like he is running roughshod. मेखदार जूतों वाला, वहशतनाक, जालिमाना, राइट. जालिमाना उसको बना देता, मतलब दिखाता है कि जालिमाना है, ठीक है. Once while we were having dinner together in a restaurant, I told him about the sticky eyes technique. I guess he took it to heart. When the waiter came over, Sammy uncharacteristically, instead of bluntly blurting out his order with his nose in the menu, looked at the waiter. He smiled, gave his order for the appetizer, and kept his eyes on the waiters for an extra second before looking down again at the menu to choose the main dish. I can't tell you how different Sammy seemed to me just then. He came across as a sensitive and caring man, and all it took was 2 extra seconds of eye contact. I saw the effect it had on the waiter too. We received exceptionally gracious service the rest of the evening. A week later, Sammy called me and said, "Lail, sticky eye has changed my life. I have been following it to a tea with women. I make my eyes really sticky, and with men slightly sticky. And now everybody is treating me with such deference." Right? I think it's part of the reason I have made more sales this week than all last month. If you deal with customers or client in your professional life, sticky eyes is a definite boon to your bottom line. To most people in our culture, profound eye contact signals trust, knowledge, and I am here for you attitude. Let's carry sticky eyes a step further. Like a potent medicine that has the power to kill or cure, the next eye contact technique has the potential to captivate or annihilate. Done. Okay. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair for listening to me patiently. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today we have learned about smiling, okay, slower smiling and sticky eyes contact.